Welcome to the Magnet Pool, where we dive into Miami-Dade's most innovative and creative magnet programs that truly make Miami-Dade County Public Schools your best choice in education. I'm your host, Dr. Magda Castro-Pereira, Administrative Director in the Innovation and School Choice Office. And today, we are shining a spotlight on one of the most iconic and historically significant middle schools in our district, Ponce DeLeon Middle School, celebrating its 100 years of excellence. Ponce is nationally recognized for their International Baccalaureate Middle Years program, as well as being the distinguished top school of excellence from Magnet Schools of America. And joining me today to take a deep dive into their rich community, their legacy, and how they build every single student in their community is their principal, Miss Angela Gonzalez, and Magnet lead teacher, Marlene Ramos. Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's great to have you. Wow, 100 years of Ponce pride. You know, let's lay the foundation for our listeners, right? You have a historical campus. It's the most beautiful thing. It has a deep community roots, and you're building students on a day-by-day as they walk through your campus. So let's start with you, Angela. Talk to me a little bit about what does this milestone mean to you as the site principal of one of the most iconic middle schools in our district?
Oh, this is a blessing. We are so excited. I particularly am so excited to be the sitting principal in this time period during this iconic year. I mean, it's not many get to say that, right? That We're celebrating a century of excellence, a century of academic excellence, being really a pillar of our community. That's a blessing. That is an honor, truly honor.
Absolutely. And every year, you know, as a site principal, former principal, we spend the entire summer thinking about the best theme, right? What is going to be our theme, right, for the next school year? And since you're celebrating a century of excellence, right, your theme is exploring into the next 100 years. So how powerful is that, right? What does that mean to you and your vision for Ponce Middle School?
Well, if we take it back just a little bit this past summer, right, we spent a lot of time diving into what is that focus, right? Because we want to honor the past, but also set us up for the next century.
Exactly.
And that's a big responsibility. So you see all our logos. We revamped our Ponce logo.
Okay.
It's the big 100, and under it you'll see it states it's one school, one century, infinite impact.
Oh, wow.
And that's really encompassing the past 100 years and propelling us into what that next century looks like as Explorer Nation. So it's really encompassing all, and it's embedded in what we do every single day, really diving deep and connecting the past and the present and the future.
That's so exciting. I really love how you said that, really bringing the present and the future together as one.
Absolutely.
Ms. Ramos, talk to us a little bit about that culture, right? So your environment, right? We were celebrating 100 years. 100 years. What does the school environment look like? What makes the environment so unique, right, that students want to be at Ponce?
Thank you. So I have been part of that culture for the last 25 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So I arrived.
Half a century.
A quarter
of a century.
So I arrived right as Ponce had celebrated its 75th, and now we're celebrating our 100th. It's very, very special. We're part of the community, not just Coral Gables, but Coconut Grove, Little Havana, and to have all of those families come through our school the last 100 years. We have faculty, staff, we have parents, grandparents, all that have been part of our school within the last 25 years that I have been there, and it's a lot. It's such
Incredible.
an honor. We could not be happier to have them join us over and over again.
And your entire staff is celebrating with you this year, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just walking around the school, you can see the excitement. You can see it in the classrooms, in the students. All these activities that we have had in place for them, just to honor our past, because that's important as well.
Wow. So let's kind of shift a little bit to the conversation to your nationally recognized International Baccalaureate Middle Years program, right? So for parents that are new to IB that don't understand, they hear a lot, what's IB, right? Mm-hmm. For those parents, can you talk to us a little bit about, what is the benefit of a student coming into the Middle Years program as an IB student at Ponce?
Right. So Ponce DeLeon Middle School was actually the first school in Coral Gables to be established as an IB Middle Years program back in 2008. So
Incredible.
We've been doing this for quite some time, right? The benefits, there's so many, right? This is a Swiss program, internationally recognized, obviously. But when you're talking about educating the whole child, right, there's obviously academic rigor. But beyond the academics, where you're doing interdisciplinary connections, right? And we are learning not just in math, but we're making those connections in your science classes, in your reading classes, in your social studies classes. You're going beyond that and really focusing on the pillars of IB, right? Mm-hmm. Whether you're principled or whether you're a communicator, and highlighting those aspects to truly make you not just this well-rounded individual, but connect you to the community and beyond. So you are now an 11, 12, 13-year-old child who's gaining all of these skills that are interpersonal as well to be that leader.
Well, and as we, we're in the 21st century, as we prepare students for future careers, right, they need to be a well-rounded student, right, and a global leader. And that's what the IB framework does, right? It encourages and really lays down the foundation of how to be a well-rounded global citizen.
Something that Ms. Gonzalez has brought with her is an extensive long list of electives that the children can select. Because we have an 8-period day, they get to select 4 electives that are part of that International Baccalaureate. So you can have anything from robotics to speech and debate, art and cooking, drama. There's about a dozen different electives that all of our students can participate in, and really enriches their day-to-day and what they do during school hours and after school.
And something to highlight and add to that, by starting your IB journey in middle school at a younger age, you're really, as you said, laying that foundation. And you have a really nice pathway to get into the high school IB program. So you're creating already your capacity. You're building that. So when you get into, let's say, the Coral Gables IB program, because it is a direct pathway.
Great.
And not
that is
parents,
a benefit.
That is a huge benefit.
That's
not many
a benefit.
parents realize that. We're in middle school. However, we're talking and we're thinking about high school. We're thinking about post-secondary. We're already thinking what AP classes, because we offer AP Spanish. We offer the college level courses in middle school. And let's say you're not taking that route. You're establishing this foundation to get you in a very successful IB program for high school, which can lead to 100%
college credits,
Florida Bright Futures.
Oh yeah, that's something that you definitely need to highlight.
Absolutely, so we're already thinking about that. Again, when we talk to parents, during our 6th grade new student orientation, like, wait.
We're talking college.
Absolutely.
Listen,
because it starts so
the data
young.
shows that our parents are starting to explore their options and learning all of these as they earlier, right? At least 2 years before they even get there, so that you are having your 6th grade orientation, really welcoming your students, right? Celebrating 100 years of excellence. And wait, don't forget, through your IB program, you will be able to hopefully satisfy apply and get your IB,
you know what,
free, full, bright
it's
futures.
Opportunities. That's what it is. You want to expand and you want to be able to give the opportunities to students and parents. And at the very least, they are with a very fantastic advanced academic rigorous program that's going to set them up for success.
Yeah, you said it just right. And listen, in segueing from this rigorous curriculum, because IB is rigorous,
it is.
okay?
It is.
Something that really stands out about your school, right, is your concierge approach, right? Ponce does something special. And I get goosebumps, and I'm talking about it, right? You truly support every child. You're supporting your IB students. You're supporting your ESOL students, those students that are acquiring the second, language, English as a second language. You are supporting your students that are participating in special education in the autism program that you have at Ponce. Very successful. Talk to us a little bit about that concierge approach.
That is the perfect way to introduce it, right? Because that's how we tell parents. We say,
I get goosebumps
it's truly a concierge service. So every learner has a fan group, has a support system, and they have someone or several people cheering them on. So, for example, our IB magnet, Ms. Ramos, right? She's the lead of my concierge for the IB program. But I also have Ms. Foderick for my special education. I have Ms. Fernandez for our ESOL population. I have Ms. Barrera for gifted. So when you look at the school as a whole, and you have your department chairs, of course, and every person there is cheering on your child, but when you really have a point of contact, obviously beyond your administration,
right?
But when you have extra support systems that really a parent can come to, and you know that someone is really keeping an eye out for your kid, it makes it that much more special, and it just surrounds them with that extra support. So, as you know, it's a team, right? It takes a village.
It takes a village.
So to have those people in place and the systems in place to be able to support that really sets us apart.
And listen, and we know that in our schools we have a multi-level of support, but what you're doing really is leveling the playing field for every child. And
designated.
Right. And kudos to both of you, your leadership and your entire community, right? And your faculty and staff, because as you said, it takes a village.
And let me add, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's beyond instructional personnel.
Yes.
Right. So when you have my head security coming to me, hey, Gonzalez, I spoke to so-and-so, right? Every staff member is invested in our
It's vetted in that.
They really are.
And faculty has to buy into that type of environment, and I think it stems from, that 100-year, that century of deeply rooted community for the benefits of students, right? Of educating students. So kudos to your entire faculty.
And my apologies.
Go ahead.
Another group that also gets a lot of support in our school, that we have the best PTSA, absolutely, in the county, with that being led by an amazing group of parents, but with a lot of support from the school. This is a PTSA organization that has office space in our school, is welcome to our school, that participates daily. So this middle school years are a little difficult sometimes.
Yeah, well, the transition is difficult.
Transition is difficult. So these parents feel very comfortable not only with us, but with our other administrator staff, with our staff, and they have their own place in our building where they can also get that concierge service.
Wow, that's amazing. So talk to us a little bit, Ms. Ramos, about how do you ensure that all of these students have a voice, right? And I know that they've made those connections, those relationships, that really is your concierge approach to ensuring that every student is successful at Ponce, right? But how do they feel about their voice? Do they feel that they're being heard?
So we've created a community our main office. It's not our main office or even the counselor's
it's the
main
student's
office.
And they take over.
So we have a group of student ambassadors that runs our office. They run our office and they run every activity at Ponce. Pretty much like how in high school usually students run our activities, it is something that we're doing at Ponce. So every activity from our Explorer Summer Camp, which is a camp that we provide for students in the summer before 6th grade year starts, through every other activity that we do, we start targeting students to participate and help us put it together. So you have a student who has never maybe talked in public or has never put an activity together, and now they're being taught to do that.
Wow.
And
take that leadership role.
To take the leadership to they're in charge of it.
Which is part of an IB framework, right? You're building future leaders.
Absolutely.
And having those leadership skills is so important.
So in our office, these children are there all the time. They run it. They come in, Ms. Ramos, Ms. Gonzalez, we should do this, we should do that, we should do this differently.
That's amazing. That's great.
And that a lot of the electives that we now have that are very successful, are like our speech and debate class, like our drama class, it just started, has been a part of them advocating that they will like those electives, that we see it, right? We see them, and then just being blessed by having the best staff that is open to, and to try
exactly. So I don't know who wants to answer this, but maybe you can describe for our listeners what does this inclusive environment look like at Ponce?
Fun.
There's a lot of fun. So I'll say this, right? If you walk into our campus, it is a lush, beautiful 1920s buildings, right, on 16 and a half acres, right? And it's grand. It is grand. But I think beyond that, we have the beautiful buildings. Beyond that, what's beautiful and special about it is when you walk in and how you feel. So I always tell people, just come. I invite them. Come, because it's very different. You see the landscape, you see the buildings, and it's gorgeous, the columns, and it's very Coral Gables. But when you come in, it's a different feel. I think what's important is, number one, the touch point that we have with all our kids. That's truly important. Again, from custodians to security to teachers to our front office, everyone knows our kids. There's a lot of fun, but we expect a lot. We expect a lot.
Hey, you said high standards.
So there is tons of high standards, but we're just really firm believers, work hard, play hard, right? So we expect from the staff, I expect from the teachers, I expect from our students, but you also have to relax a little bit. Because if they don't want to come to school, they're not going to learn.
Of course.
So to be able to give them voice and advocacy and the comfort of safe space, because if something fails, it's okay. Okay. We just tweak, we pivot, right? And let's see, how do we get this better? Or what would be a better way to do this? How do we make it better for the next time?
Right.
That's okay. And I think we create that sense of safety, not just physical safety, but also social, emotional, and mental safety, where we can try something. Wow. We can try it. We can take that little step. We can take a leap. They are very comfortable. The principal's office is not very scary. It's come in.
Yeah, of course. My doors are open for you. You're welcome.
It's your office. It's your school. It's your office.
So it's just take the chance. Ask.
I also like how we have set up that, yes, IB is regular, for example, and yes, taking high school level courses in math and science and all these languages is difficult, but how we have set up those programs, like with the University of Miami, where partnerships 100%, where there's free homework help, where a parent doesn't have to be going outside of the school to get tutoring or any of that. All of that can happen.
Well, that's a great segue, and I'm going to allow you to elaborate a little bit, because we say all the time, we have the most amazing, nationally recognized magnet programs in Miami-Dade County. We lead the nation in magnet programming, right? But the sustainability of these magnet programs rely heavily on our rich community, right? Our PTSA that always is contributing to the education of students, and our partnerships with our community. So I'm going to allow you to elaborate a little bit. So homework help is one.
So homework help is this amazing place where some of our teachers, 3 of our teachers, and a team of about 20 UM students.
Wow.
And an outside agency, the home team, comes in together and they assist our students with any homework assignment. So they go to this general place and you need assistance with your math class. There's a professor there and a student that can help you with that. You need assistance with your French class. There's somebody there that can help you with that. Or you just need a little extra help with math, and there's somebody there that can help you with that. And again, that is a relationship that our school has had with these organizations for years. And it's not the only one. We have great relationships also with FIU. Miami-Dade College is a great partner. It just makes our students day-to-day academically, but also their activities.
Right. So, I mean, even with the home team, right? That's
amazing.
One of
That's
our
an
most
amazing scholarship.
Incredible partners. We are able to connect with community members and community organizations who, there's certain times that we are restricted with what
obviously.
we can do, right, as a school. So they come in and they fill in those gaps for us, right? Where we can, for example, take our kids now 2nd year in a row to Art Basel, right? Where our kids would probably not have gone or been able to have the means to go there.
So it's not only exposure,
So
but you're
it
also
is.
tying academics to that, right?
Absolutely. So any topic that we're working on, we're always going out and trying to pull additional community members and partners because, again, how else can we tie what's going on within the school and expose and give those opportunities for our kids? Because once, I always think of it's like a small circle. Once you tap into something and our kids open up and get the experience of something else.
Yes.
I take my kids for Principal's Honor Roll. We walk across the street and go to the University of Miami to have lunch.
For lunch.
Because the fact that you're standing and walking on the university campus, it just
Right,
opens
exactly.
up your eyes to
It's awareness.
This could
It's building
be the
that
norm,
awareness. I could
right?
see myself
I see
there
myself
walking through these
here.
hallways.
Absolutely.
Those are the conversations that they have when they're walking. I want to come here.
That's great.
Right. They want to interact. They want to see where the students are at. They have had tours of the universities. They have had conversations with their admissions officers. It's a really great
And this
partnership.
is just middle school.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Exactly.
It's middle school. But again,
Exactly.
it's tapping in and just dropping those ideas. So that way they can feel it. They can see
possible.
it. It is possible for them.
Exactly. So your rich-rooted culture is clear, right? That it is literally leading the future for our students. It's great. So I want to go back to the theme because it's so gratifying to see how a school can celebrate 100 years of excellence, right? So I want to go back to your theme because I love your theme, how you're celebrating the past, but looking forward and building the footsteps into the future. So elaborate a little bit about the different things you've done with your student body and those experiences for them to celebrate alongside. I know you had a beautiful opening of school with your faculty and staff. I mean, truly beautiful. I'm sure you're building a memory lane, right, of artifacts for 100 years. So talk to us a little bit about all of that.
There's so many things, right? And you're talking about 100 years, right? And pulling from wherever we can, from the community, from our school itself, from old past yearbooks, alumni coming in, or Ms. Gonzalez, I have this yearbook that you can have, or look at this picture, this letter. We share all these artifact spaces, right? Where Ramos will take something, I'll take something, and it's when you're talking about the theme, right? And it's one school. It is important to know that it is a Ponce pillar of a community for a century. Right? Wow. One school, one century, and then the infinite impact. So the goal and what we hold with such honor and such responsibility is we know our past. We know it. And that's a responsibility. Even further is a responsibility to carry that forward. Right. So how do we combine the two? And it is pouring into our staff. It's pouring into our kids. Yeah. Right? So this is beyond the celebration of community and staff. It's our current students also, because this is a huge milestone for them. So we'll call them the 8th grade Centennial class, the 7th grade Centennial class, the 6th grade Centennial class.
That's great.
Whereas 100 years ago, 85, 75 years ago, the alumni at that point took pictures on the 100 steps. That's where our current kids take their pictures on the 100
The same
steps. And so it's nice to see that
Right, you're
bridge and that
merging the
connection.
past with the present.
Because it's important that they know the history as well.
Of course.
Right? Our kids, you see them, and they know the theme. They know it's the Centennial. We're going to throw them a birthday party also because, you know what, you're here during the 100th year.
And it's
so
fun.
it's a lot of fun. You know, we're going to be
Work hard,
celebrating.
play hard.
100%. We're going to celebrate the ceremonial part of the Centennial on February 12th.
That's
and
great.
then the first time students walked in was in April. So on that day, April 24th, that's our big bash for our students as well. So making a lot of those ties, you know, inviting the alumni to come back.
And
to
you have,
different
and I'm
activities
sorry
and
to
events.
interrupt
Yeah.
you, but you have a lot of faculty that are alum.
They are. So Miss Ramos, 25 years.
Yes.
And not just that.
Proudly.
So most of our
Congrats.
staff are actually about that 20
Yes.
plus years. And then we have staff that went there from middle school or junior high. And talk about full circle, they've come back to teach and pour back into our community, which is the most beautiful thing ever.
Wow.
Right? To see not only them come back, but their families go through, you know,
Exactly.
these floor trails of what it is. So the richness there is definitely there. And we're so honored to have them still be in our
and their
building.
pride
Oh,
to be
they are
able
so
to
proud.
give back to the
Yes.
community. But something that I really like that we have been working on as it relates to that is just looking at their electives and their classes to almost like realign the classes for the future.
Exactly.
So a lot of the new electives that our children are started taking this year, those new electives that Ms. Gonzalez was talking
Edge
about,
that we incorporated.
has to do with having them ready for the next
100 years. Right. So those
it's
100 years look very
right,
promising.
Very
Yes.
promising.
So we always close the segment with this one question, and you might have answered this, right? So what's pulling the students? What is your magnet pull? What's pulling your students is really the curriculum that you're laying for the next 100 years, right?
I think there's
And if you can sum it up
sure,
in
of course.
30 seconds.
So our magnet pool, it is a very comprehensive school that does a little bit of everything and does it spectacular. Where you have a safe space where our kids shine, and most importantly, that they're happy there. Right? That
Exactly.
joy allows them to receive what we're offering. It allows them to propel forward, and that's what we're so grateful for.
Well, thank you both for joining us today and for
Thank you.
sharing
Thank
Ponce's
you.
remarkable
Thank you.
legacy. And I look only to the future for the next 100 years, which looks very promising at Ponce Middle
Thank you.
Middle
Thank
School.
you.
And
Thank
a
you.
big thank you to our listeners and our viewers out there, and a special thanks to Miami Community News for affording us an opportunity to share our stories with the public in this platform. Remember, parents, our magnet application is open and it closes on January the 15th. With one application, you can select up to 5 magnet programs, of which Ponce could be one of them. To explore more about our magnet programs, you can log on to our webpage at miamimagnets.org. And don't miss out on new information. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms at Miami Magnets. Our next expo and showcase for our parents will be held in Miami-Dade College North Campus on January the 10th. We look forward to seeing you there. And that is it for this episode of the Magnet Pool. Keep being drawn to what inspires you, and we'll see you next time on the Magnet Pool.